On Wednesday, February 2nd, Hiller Boys Hockey visited Medfield at Pirelli Veterans Arena in Franklin. Medfield struck first.
Trying to dig it out, Arthur. They now out in front. There's a shot and a Medfield goal. Great setup for James Tyre, and he's able to put it in stick side to make it 1-0 Medfield. The assist will go to Kevin Arthur.
Hillers struck with vengeance, adding 3 goals of their own in the first period.
Dolan sends it over, intercepted by Karatza. Karatza racing up, takes a shot, and it gets by the goalie, and it's in! Tie game! 20 seconds later! Sent towards Title, trying to get it out of the traffic jam. Now Scardino, over to Ian Tosca, and Ian Tosca puts it in! 2-1, Hillers, a beautiful shot by Ian Tosca. And what a setup by Scardino. There, along with DeRocher. Here comes DeRocher, slaps it off the glass. In the Medfield territory, trying to turn it around. Lusby takes a big hit, and now it's set down and a goal! Charlie Purpura! I believe it was Callum Greenwood who sent it out, and Purpura pops it in. A 3-1 Hillers lead.
3-1 Hillers. Heading into the second period, Hopkinton added on.
Stays on his feet. Up around the end boards now. DeRocher sends it out, and it's poked in! Charlie Purpura!
Hillers hung on and took the game 4-3. Hopkinton improved to 6-6 on the season. Congratulations to Hiller Boys Indoor Track and the wrestling team as they clinched the TVL Large Championship. Boys Indoor Track and Wrestling went through tough competition and COVID obstacles, but were able to clinch with their great performances throughout the season. On Saturday, February 5th, Medway Girls Hockey took down a shorthanded Hopkinton Dover Sherborne girls co-op team 6-2 in a well-fought-out game. Also on Saturday, Hiller Boys Hockey fell to Norwood 6-2 in a tough loss for the Hillers. Hopkinton is now 6-7 on the season. Also on Saturday, February 5th, the TVL Swimming Showcase took place. Hillers Boys Swimming and Dive finished second overall. Tyler Fallon, Davis Pishoff, and Kevin Goop were amongst the top performers for the Hillers. The Hiller girls finished 7th overall. Tess and Eve Weatherhead finished 1st and 2nd in the diving competition. On Sunday, February 6th, Hiller girls took on Westwood. Hillers made a comeback in the 4th quarter, and it went right down to the end.
Oh, kickball, taken by Cho, to the rack, yes!
There's the turnaround we needed right there.
Connaughton down the lane, and she responds. 17 points for Haley Jacobson. And she knocks them both down. Fossbender trying to get open. Out to Fossbender. Doherty. Back to Fossbender. Driving in. Long 2. Knocks it down, but that was a 2.
Hopkinton ended up falling in the game 41-40. Hiller girls basketball on Tuesday lost a tough one to Holliston on the road. 44-38 was the final. The Hiller girls are now 5-7 on the season. Hiller boys basketball hosted Holliston on Tuesday for their senior night game. Here's a look at the senior night highlights.
What they've done and all of their accomplishments over the last 4 years. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the seniors and their family members. First up is Matt Kaufman with Christine and Jeff Kaufman and Lucas. Next is Nate Casper with Holly and Doug Casper and Zoe. Our next senior is Nick Paharik with Mom and Dad Sarah and Ben. Our next senior is Caleb Raham with Mom and Dad Rachel and Cliff. Next up is Owen Schnurr with Mom and Dad Laura and Frank and sister Maya. Our final senior is Alex Smith with Beth Brady, Jim Smith, and Roan.
It was a 26-21 Hiller lead heading into the second half, and the Hopkinton offense opened up.
Casper takes it up.
Easy for me to say.
Short. Casper around the defender.
Woo!
Yes.
Points is going to be close to 20 points.
17 so far. Diesenroth trying to come up with a steal, and he will. Casper. Count it.
Oh, yeah. I think a timeout is in order here.
And we'll get a Holliston timeout. First field goal of the third quarter by Holliston. Casper kicks it out. Hyman for three. Count it. Snelly knows have it. Schnorr.
Stop and pop.
There it is.
Oh,
yes.
You could see that happening in slow motion, and Schnorr buries it.
Hillers outscore Holliston in the third quarter 21-3 and would take the win 67-29. The Hillers are now 10-4 on the season and have officially clinched a playoff spot. Nate Casper led the way in the win for the Hillers over Holliston, dropping 21 points. Hello, everybody, and welcome in to this segment of HCAM Sports Talk. Tom Nappy here, and joining me is Andy Barron from My FM 101.3. Andy, how are you?
Good, Tom. How are you? Shortest month of the year, so we're going to be in March soon. That means hopefully warmer weather coming.
Well, days-wise, it is the shortest month, but as far as weather and hours-wise, for me, it's not. It's probably the longest.
It is, but you know what? It felt good the other day to see that there was still light out at 5:30. That's giving me some hope that we're getting there. You know?
Yes. And supposedly the weather's supposed to get warmer next week. So
it is. Yes. It's been a cold couple of days, but it's winter. You know, we're used to it. I mean,
absolutely. How about that random snowstorm on Super Bowl Sunday?
Crazy. You know, I woke
Came
up
out of nowhere.
I woke up early Sunday morning. I had some things to do, and I'm like, okay, it's snowing out. And then it was just a weird storm. Like it didn't all come at once. It was just all kind of spread out. But I think Milford ended up with like 9-10 inches of snow. I mean, my driveway still has got snow in it. So I'm like, I don't think anybody saw it coming, but you know, it happens. That's New England weather.
Usually they predict a big storm and it doesn't happen. In this case, they predicted a couple inches and we got almost a foot.
Yeah. And it goes to show you that it still can happen that way, that no matter how much technology we have, you're not going to, the weather's going to do what the weather's going to want to do, you know? But hey, you know, it's winter. That's just the way it is.
Absolutely. But it was still a great Super Bowl Sunday. I thought the game was heavily entertaining. One of the most entertaining Super Bowls I think I've seen. Just a back and forth battle. Some big momentum shifts in this game. Of course, the Rams ended up taking down the Bengals right at the end. The Bengals, they led most of the game. I felt pretty good about where they were at heading into that fourth quarter. But hey, the Rams defensive line, it was just too much for the Bengals offensive line to handle. And that was one of the things that we talked about and feared going into this for the Bengals. But for his first showing in the Super Bowl, I thought Joe Burrow played excellent. I think they really need to get him an offensive line, though, or the guy is not going to last long.
No.
And I thought the Bengals played good in general. But it was really what cost them this game is their offensive line. That's Aaron Donald was just able to literally just attack Joe Burrow throughout that fourth quarter. And they really need to get an offensive line, Andy.
They do, Tom. This was kind of a weird game, I thought. Entertaining, yes, but I think this game lacked something. I don't know what it was, but it just
good officiating.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm surprised you didn't bring that up first, but listen, calls are going to get missed. I think we all can agree, but we've all agreed on this show all year, especially Jared, saying the officiating is a problem and it's going to be a problem later in the season. Well, it clearly was in this game. You can't just not call something in the first quarter and then call it with a minute to go in the fourth quarter. You can't do that. And they inserted themselves into the game. They slowed the game down, and I was kind of ticked off. I'm like, because I think I don't know. It just
it's like, why do the refs always have to make it about them?
Well, I think that, exactly. And they did. It's just like that call was on on Logan, I believe, and the Bengals was horrible. You can't make that call. You can't make that call. You got to let it go. I mean, if it's a blatant call, okay. And I know they missed the face mask on T. Higgins or on Jalen Ramsey, but at that point, It's like, well,
if you're going to call one, you got to call the other. If you're not going to call one, don't call the other.
This was not a good ending to the season.
And they did miss a very bad face mask on against the Rams on Burrow.
Yeah.
There was a brutal face mask that I can't believe they missed.
It's like, there was no consistency whatsoever. Like, I don't know. I just think it lacked a flow a little bit. Now, I think the play of the game was when the Bengals came out, they scored right away within 5 seconds to start the game. And then Matthew Stafford throws the interception. I'm like, here we go. The Bengals score a touchdown there. This is a different ball game. Now the Rams are coming from behind, but they settled for a field goal. You can't do that with an offense like the Rams. They're good. And you know what? I got to give Matt Stafford credit. He had 3 come from behind wins this postseason. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, look, I don't think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback or anything like that, but you've got to give him credit. I mean, just imagine if you're a Lions fan right now, how sick you have to be. Like, we had this guy. He goes away and he wins
1 year. First year gone.
First year. And he played 12 years. I still can't believe he lasted 12 years in Detroit. I mean, and he actually seems like a decent guy. Like, I mean, if you're a Lions fan, you got to think, what in the world did we just do?
I think what it shows is he's a good quarterback. And if you give him a good team to surround him, he can make things happen. Problem is the Lions never did that. They never gave him a good all-around team. They had some weapons throughout the years, Calvin Johnson and people like that, but they never had really a good defense. They never really had a good offensive line.
No.
They would sometimes have a good offensive line, but they'll have a bad defense. Sometimes good defense, but bad receivers. They couldn't build a good all-around team. And the Rams, they're a very well-built all-around team. Both of these teams are, but especially the Rams. If you compare and we said this too last week, you compare the Rams and Bengals on paper, the Rams are the better team. They're the better built team. They got a great offensive line. They got a great defense. They got great weapons. They got good running backs. They got a good quarterback. They have everything you need to have a good all-around team. Detroit never had that, but look what happens when it's a team effort, right? They say it's a team game.
It is. And the Rams probably are the better team, and it showed in some spots. But the Bengals had their chances. They really probably should have won this game, but
they should have.
I also think too, they took the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands. You can't do that. He's your best player. when after the Rams scored with a minute to go, still had a lot of time. They just needed a field goal. Okay. And it's like, I just feel like they took the ball out of Joe Burrow's hand. Like, this is the opportunity he had to show what he could. You mean to tell me he couldn't get that team in field goal range? But the problem is, again, this was very similar to that Giants Patriots first Super Bowl. I hate bringing that up, but when the Patriots offensive line was just completely overwhelmed by the Giants front seven, it was very similar to what the Rams did here as well. And I mean, I guess it was a good game, but I was a little disappointed, especially with just the officiating at the end. You got to put the whistles away, guys. This was not a good.
Seriously.
This was not really a very good year for the NFL with that. They've really got.
I think it was their worst year ever for officiating. I thought the officiating this year was awful.
It was bad, and
they need to do something about
Super Bowl. Can't do that in the Super Bowl. You've got to let these teams play. I mean, again, if it's blatant, you throw the flag. But it's like, I don't know. It just was just a weird game. Like, I mean, I guess I don't know if I'm really making a lot of sense. I just thought I was just expecting a little bit more. I mean, but you haven't seen, the Rams and the Bengals maybe aren't really the big sell, as opposed to, like, if you had, Brady in there or Rodgers or something like that, or Mahomes. But, these two teams definitely deserve to be there.
Yeah.
It's just, but, Sean McVay, you got to give him credit. He's a pretty good coach. I didn't think Zach Taylor had a very good game. I thought he kind of coached scared a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's his first Super Bowl appearance, so he was probably a little nervous, but I thought overall he did okay. I just think, Aaron Donald destroyed that offensive line. That offensive line is a serious problem for the Bengals.
No shot.
And quite frankly, Kupp and Donald should have got co-MVPs, because without both of those guys, you're not going to win that game if you're the Rams.
No, and Aaron Donald is a future Hall of Famer. I think we can all agree. The guy is just
definitely.
How do you stop him? Seriously. I mean, they had no answer whatsoever for Aaron Donald, and Cooper Kupp was just, again, what more can you say? The guy is almost uncoverable.
I don't know why they didn't double him more. I really don't understand that. Stick another guy on the offensive line.
They just couldn't. I mean, this guy's too good. Can you imagine this guy on the Patriots? I mean, oh my God, it would be, if Cooper Kupp was on the Patriots, we're probably in the AFC Championship game, because that one guy just makes the whole difference, because he does everything.
To me, Cooper Kupp is like Edelman, so
he's better.
I think Kupp, probably slightly better, but not much better. I think, he might be a little faster. And if I'm comparing them and I had to pick one, yes, Kupp's better, but they're very similar players. So I feel like you got a taste of what it's like to have a Cooper Kupp kind of guy on your team with Edelman.
Mm-hmm.
Kupp is faster. He's stronger.
Definitely
he's
stronger.
Better, but
his strength is, the way he gets off the line is unreal.
If I'm ranking Kupp here, I'm putting Edelman like right here. I think they're pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. I mean, but he deserved the MVP. He's a phenomenal player. He's the best receiver in the game. There's no question about it now. I mean, Jamar Chase is still really, that catch he made was incredible, that he made earlier in the game. This guy is going to be great. Listen, a lot of people are saying, well, the Bengals are one and done. I disagree. This team is still very good. They're still going to be in the mix here. Joe Burrow can play in this league. I think we all can agree. I guess, where do the Rams go? I mean, do they have a shot to repeat next year? Or a lot of their players going to retire or whatnot? But, if most of their players come back, they're still going to be right there. I mean,
I think they're going to have their key pieces. They're going to have Stafford. They're going to have Donald. They're going to have Kupp. And, the Bengals did very good defending Kupp a lot of that game. It was towards the end of the game that he broke through.
He was just wearing them out. I mean,
yeah.
They did. Yeah.
And actually, looking at our props here, Vegas again nailing it. Cooper Kupp over under 8.5. How many receptions do you think he had?
5?
8.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
He had 8. They nailed it. They
close,
absolutely nailed it. It's unbelievable.
They
were right on the money.
Yeah,
I think we all had the over on that too. So we all lost by like a half a reception.
It's tough to go against Vegas. They know it. I mean,
And then, here's another one. Well, actually, no, this was a little off. Odell Beckham Jr., he only had 2 receptions. A big part of that, he got hurt. He actually tore his ACL, and it's the same knee that he tore it on the first time. That's problematic, tearing the same knee twice. And then,
he was really starting to hit his stride, I think, with the Rams too. I mean, he was starting to come on.
Yep. He's in a good spot. He likes it there.
Sure.
And I think he's happy with his new home, competitive team. And that's why I don't think you'll see like the diva antics that you saw from him. I mean, when you're on a bad team, like the Giants, like he was for years, or the Browns, the Browns barely used him like he wanted to be used. So, and, they weren't too great for a little while. It's stressful, especially for a guy like Odell, that he needs to have the ball. He needs to have his opportunities. For many games of the Browns, they weren't even throwing to him much. They were using him for blocking, and they'd throw to him once in a while, but certainly not as much as he wanted. But I think he's found his spot where he's happy. And I think that's important with a guy like that. Jamar.
Yep.
Oh, here's another one Vegas nailed. Jamar Chase, over under 5.5 receptions. How many do you think he had?
5.
Yep. 5. Unbelievable. Let's see, 89 yards. Did I have the yards in here? That might have been on the first show. I thought I might have had the yards in there, but anyways, I think they nailed the yards as well.
They probably did. No one Vegas.
They were right on the money. Here's a good one. Mixon, over under 62.5 yards.
60
How many yards do you think he had?
60.
72. So you got the over a little bit on that one, but I think it was in the fourth quarter he got like a chunk of those yards.
They didn't use him enough, I think, in this game. I especially like on a 3rd and 1. You don't even try to go to Mixon or let Burrow do a quarterback sneak. These are some of the things that I'm starting to question now as the game's over. Just Mixon's a good back.
Especially when you're going against a defensive line like that. Why aren't you running more sweep plays? Why aren't you trying to exploit the edge and block Mixon's path? Let him get the edge. They definitely should have done more of that. One guy who was absolutely amazing for the Bengals, probably their MVP, was T. Higgins. He had a really good game. He's a receiver to look out for too.
He's really good, man. Like really good receiver. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Chad Johnson.
4 receptions, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns.
This Bengals receiving core is really good.
They're
very good.
And they're keeping most of these pieces next year. I think they're only going to get better. And then you kind of hear a little compliments from Gronk towards Burrow. Things might get interesting there.
He's talked about going to play for the Bengals.
He mentioned something along I don't know the exact quote, but he mentioned that I think a reporter asked him if you stayed in the league when Brady retires, who would you like to play with? And he said Joe Burrow.
So do you think he helps the Bengals?
Absolutely.
I mean, just having him out there, that's just a whole other dynamic you got to worry about.
Because they're missing a tight end. I mean, Uzoma's okay.
He's not Gronkowski.
But no, he's not Gronk.
I think he actually would work. Tom, you know what? I think he would work well there. That Bengals team still be very good. I mean, with Gronkowski there, but they have got to fix the offensive line. They cannot go back with that same offensive line again.
And also, don't forget, Gronk's a great blocking tight end.
Oh, he helped that one of the best we've ever seen. Yeah. Very true.
It's perfect for him. They should go head over heels over Gronk. This team could really use him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. Yeah, I guess the more I'm thinking about it, maybe I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Yep, and they very well may. Very well may.
We play the Bengals next year too. Gronkowski could, because he didn't play in the Tampa Bay game this year. I still think the guy could play. I can't picture him in a Bengals uniform. I mean, God.
I could. I think he wants to go there. I think if he stays in the league, that's probably one of the only teams he'll go to, because at this point in his career, he's going to be selective. He's not just going to
Of
go
course.
anywhere.
He's not going to go play for the Jets. I mean, it's not going to go play for the Dolphins, some lousy team like that. I mean, he's going to be selective. Sure.
Oh, get this. Over under for T. Higgins receptions was 5.5. How many do you think he had? I already said it, so let's see how good your memory was.
He had eight, right?
No,
No.
Higgins only had 4 receptions, but
4
4
receptions.
yards.
But he had
a 75-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
I forgot. That's where a huge chunk of his yards came from, was that 75-yard
Right.
touchdown.
5 seconds into the third quarter. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. I mean, a
It
score
was a
so
huge play.
was, yeah. And like I said, it could have changed the whole game, but it didn't. And that's what football is all about, momentum. We see it all the time. A team gets a score, they get a turnover. That's just the way football is. It's all about momentum.
Oh, this is a good one too. Over under on Joe Burrow rushing yards, 11.5. How many do you think he had?
Rushing yards.
Yeah.
He didn't have many. 6 or 7.
3.
3.
And then
I'm just kidding.
Stafford, this is a great one. Over under rushing yards on Stafford, 5.5. How many do you think he had?
I don't think he had any. 0.
6.
Oh God.
So hit the over by a half.
You hit the whole. Yeah. Well, see, I don't do a lot of those prop bets because they're just so hard to get. I mean, as opposed to.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, as opposed to doing like a parlay or whatever. I lost the coin toss. I said it was going to be tails, and it was heads. But
I was the only one to say heads.
you were the only one that says head. Hey, it's you got a 50-50 shot. So
I'll tell you what, though, you did better than me. You went 14-9 on props. I went 13-10. Steve also went 14-9. So you and Steve tied.
Great season to everybody too this year. These games are not easy to pick, and it was a lot of fun. And look forward to doing them again next year.
We need to congratulate Jared. He's this year's Pick'em champion. He came out with 198 points overall. I was in second with 196. Steve and Andy tied for third, 183.
Hey, we'll take it.
Maybe we need some kind of tiebreaker for you two.
No, give it to Steve. Give it to Steve.
Mike had 180, so
close.
We're all neck and neck.
Yeah,
and it was certainly a fun pick 'em, and we'll do it again next year because it's always great running through the games, picking them, and what do we do now that football season's over? What are we going to talk about on the show? I just
keep talking about football because there's a lot of stuff. This was not a good year for this league. I'm telling you right now. I said it on the show this past week. There is so much stuff going on. Alvin Kamara just gets arrested after the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. Yeah, great idea to put the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, NFL. The whole thing that's going on in Washington.
Well, Pro Bowl.
The Pro Bowl, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing going on in Washington, the situation with the Dolphins. I mean, it's just, how can the league continue to keep going in this direction? And the horrendous press conference by Roger Goodell. We are not being fooled by this stuff anymore. I still can't even believe we're talking about Deflategate. Enough. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
We know they tried to screw the Patriots, but it's end of story. We won the Super Bowl. I don't care about it anymore. We won the damn Super Bowl. Enough is enough. But I'm going to tell you right now, if indeed that Stephen Ross was offering Brian Flores 2 fixed games, and if Daniel Snyder is sexually harassing or assaulting women, these guys need to go.
Yes.
Enough. It's time for the NFL owners to step up and do the right thing. It's time for guys like Bob Kraft, Jerry Jones, just where are you guys? It's time to start leading because people are starting to get turned off by this. I'm telling you, a lot of people are not happy with the NFL right now, and kind of including myself. It's just like, it's a great league, but they don't need to be doing all this. You cannot be fixing games.
No,
you cannot do that. That is almost unforgivable as far as I'm concerned. How can you support a team like that? Can you picture Bob Kraft going to Bill Belichick and saying, you're going to deliberately lose these games? Hell no.
Belichick would be out of there in a second.
You are paid as a professional to win games. That is the whole idea of a professional. And as a former coach myself, if anybody ever offered me a payoff, goodbye. I would. Yep. You play, as Herman Edwards said, you play to win the game.
Yep, exactly. And I'm going to go a step further. because I think this Deflategate thing, this story is huge. If Goodell was in on trying to screw over the Patriots, he needs to go, because you need a commissioner that has integrity. If they have a bias against a team or a player and they're intentionally doing something to negatively affect that team or player or making a story up, that commissioner needs to go because this affects the integrity of the NFL. This is the same as fixing games, in my opinion.
Yeah. And the whole NFL owners were all in on this. That's what really irritates me. They owe Bob Kraft an apology because, and if I'm Bob Kraft, like, I am furious right now. You mean to tell me that other teams don't do other? I mean, granted, it wasn't good, and the whole tape. This was all payback for what they did with the videotaping.
Yeah,
that's really what it was, Tom. I mean, it was just, and Tom Brady. I think they owe him one too. It's just like, they tried to tarnish the whole thing, and I am still just amazed we won.
That's the greatest part of it all. We still won. It doesn't matter.
But they're not going to let Goodell go, Tom, because he makes the owners money. Once they start losing money, then they'll say goodbye. But other than that, no, they're not getting rid of him. He's staying. But it just this is a bad look. I mean, I guess I got to tell you, people are going to start getting tired of this if this stuff keeps happening. You cannot have owners doing stuff like this. Now, I get it. These guys are billionaires. Shady stuff's probably going on that we'll never know about. I'm sure. Yeah, most likely. But I mean, I just can't even fathom an owner offering a coach. And
that's
again,
disgusting.
They're all allegations. But if this is true, he has to go. You cannot let. And if I'm a Dolphins fan, how can you even support this team knowing that this stuff could be going around? He was trying to get apparently Tom Brady to go to Miami. You can't do that. That's an insult to the Patriots. Or they need to pay the price for this. The Dolphins. They need
definitely
draft picks, money. I mean,
they nabbed the Pats over some fake Deflategate scandal, as revenge for the video, which I agree with.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do that, you got a team trying to fix games to get a draft pick and doing all this corrupt stuff that is definitely affecting the integrity of your sport. You need to penalize them, and you need to investigate this. As hard as you investigated the Pats over the Deflategate.
Well, that's what I'm upset about the most. It's like I'm sorry, fixing games and deflated footballs aren't even close. They're not even in the same stratosphere. That's what irritates me. It's like, you got to be kidding me right now. The only reason why they did it to the Patriots because they were good, because they were winning. That's why. But I don't care what team you are. You cannot be fixing games. This has the potential to be one of the biggest scandals we have ever seen in sports history. This might be up there with the Black Sox scandal.
Right.
Indeed, it goes this way. How about the whole thing with when BC was shaving points?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, back in was it Henry Hill, right back in the 80s? I mean, that was a massive scandal. You can't allow this stuff in sports because people are going to start getting turned off by it. They're not going to watch anymore. And once you start losing money, now that's just not a good thing.
Like the Kamara thing, for example, in Vegas, that's not a big deal. He got arrested for, I don't know, punching somebody. I forget what it was, but it was something stupid. A guy gets arrested in the league. That's not going to affect the viewership. People are still going to watch. Unless it's like a situation where the guy did something really bad and you let him play again, that might turn people off. But, a guy gets arrested for getting in a bar fight in Vegas.
Oh, that
back.
It's not good, but
what people do care about is integrity of the game. Anything that's affecting the integrity of the game, anything that's fixing the game. Nobody wants a fixed game. That's not why people watch sports. They want an unpredictable game. They don't want anything fixed. And if anyone is responsible for throwing games like, the Black Sox did all the way back, they should be banned from the sport for life. They should be shoeless Joe Jackson right out.
Yeah. We were talking about this on the Buzz this past weekend about Hall of Fames and about baseball Hall of Fames, kind of maybe switching gears a little bit about how I believe Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens should be in the Hall of Fame. Now, it's just my opinion. A lot of people disagree with me.
Oh, I agree. They should be.
When I went to the Hall of Fame 2 years ago, right? You know what the first thing I saw when I walked into the Hall of Fame was a picture of Pete Rose. And I'm like, I looked at him like, are you kidding me right now? So wait a minute. You're going to put a picture of Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, but he's banned?
Yeah.
How does that make any sense? Listen, what he did was horrible. You cannot bet on games. Like, it just plain and simple. And he should never be in as a manager. Absolutely not. But as a player, yes, he should. Just come on.
I agree.
He's the greatest hitter to ever to play that. Maybe the greatest hitter outside of Ted Williams.
He didn't get caught when he was a player. It was when he was a manager he got caught.
And he shouldn't be in as a manager. Never, ever. But Ty Cobb was accused of gambling. They couldn't prove it. There's some bad guys in there. There's some guys who aren't, I'm just getting tired of all the political correctness with this stuff. Like, oh, he didn't talk to me in the media. Someone made a good point. We had a caller that called in about Barry Bonds and about how his father, Bobby Bonds, who was a great player, was really mistreated very poorly by the media. And Barry Bonds used to go to the ballparks with them. And they say that's why he acted the way he did, because of the way his dad was treated. I can't say I blame him. Listen, the bottom line is this, Tom. Barry Bonds is one of the most fiercest hitters this game has ever seen.
And even he had 2 Hall of Fame careers, Barry Bonds.
Oh, yeah.
His Pirates days
he was
one
unreal.
Hall of Fame career. And that was before he was on, performance enhancing substances. His second Hall of Fame career was his Giants days. And you know what? Everybody was doing roids back then. Okay. Everybody.
And baseball, they enabled this behavior.
Yes.
They enabled this behavior. This is what I keep trying to tell everybody. Nobody wants to listen to me. They enabled the behavior.
They did.
They needed to get things up after the 94 strike.
And really, they should have kept enabling it and shut their mouths, because it was far more entertaining.
You ain't going to see somebody hit 70 home runs again. I can tell you that. That ain't happening again.
Oh,
You're lucky if somebody hits 40. The bottom line is this: Bonds and Clemens, they need to go in. I don't know if they're going to get in. I don't.
I think they're done, right? Wasn't their last time?
Well, with the writers, it is. Yes. Now they go to the Veterans Committee, and that could even be harder. But you think they even care at this point? They must be like, what if I get in? I get in.
Yeah, exactly. They made the money. Roger
Clemens won 354 games. You're not going to see a pitcher do that again.
Right. Yeah,
that was
exactly.
A dominating pitcher.
But it's
80s.
like, you look at all these guys from the 90s. Okay. So some of them were caught, some of them weren't. But like, how can you say this guy never did roids, so he should get in? This guy clearly did. You can't really do that. I mean, this was a league-wide thing. Most of the guys were on them. And I forget who it was, but there's a couple guys that are in the Hall of Fame that admitted they were doing performance-enhancing drugs.
And it's wrong.
So they're safe. And they shouldn't. Right.
It's wrong. Nobody should be doing illegal drugs. It's not good for your body. You've seen the effects it does. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you can't tell me with a straight face that a guy like Roger Clemens or Barry Bonds don't belong in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla, when they were in Pittsburgh, was one of the most fiercest duos I have ever seen. And if it wasn't for the Atlanta Braves, the Pirates are in the World Series.
Yep. Is it Bobby Bonilla still getting paid by the Mets?
He is still getting paid. I think until 2035, he's still getting paid.
That is awesome.
Isn't that incredible, though? And Bobby Bonilla was a hell of a player, too. That is, without a doubt, the worst contract in the history of sports.
Yeah, they should at least give him some administrative work or something.
He gets like $1.5 million for the next 13 years.
He does nothing, and he just collects a $5.5 million paycheck. That is
unreal. But, this, I was just reading an article here before we came on talking about the baseball lockout. And a lot of people keep saying, oh, they'll have a deal in the next couple of weeks. And I go, I wish we had Steve Watson on about this. Tom.
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
No.
We'll
get to that in a minute. We do have a little breaking news I want to get to.
Oh, okay.
Patriots announced that Matt Groh has been named Director of Player Personnel. Am I saying that right? Groh, G-R-O-H.
Yeah, is that Al Groh's son?
Yes. Groh, who is entering his 12th season with New England, spent last season as the Patriots college scouting director. This report from the usually reliable Adam Schefter.
Well, yeah.
But Matt Groh, the new director of player personnel, which I'm assuming is pretty much GM duties. He was the college scouting director. So I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, the Patriots coaching right now. What is going on here? I mean, Josh McDaniels is gone, and now he's taking at least 3 of the assistants from us with him. Ivan Fears reportedly is retiring after 31 years as running backs coach. They just brought Joe Judge back, which I'm not really thrilled about. But I mean, how much longer is Bill really going to do this? I think he's getting near the end. I mean, he's almost 70 years old. I mean,
yeah, I'd imagine he is. He's obviously going to do next season, probably another year or two. I don't think he wants to leave Kraft in a bad spot when he leaves, especially now that McDaniels is gone. But what I worry about is, there's already rumors that he's going to give Matt Patricia a huge promotion, supposedly for an offensive role. And obviously, Matt Patricia was their defensive coordinator for a number of years. Now you're going to give him a high promotion in an offensive role.
Let me just say this. We're going to have to dedicate a whole show if Matt Patricia gets promoted so you can just rant on the whole show. Because I know how much you just cannot stand Matt Patricia.
I can't. I don't even want him back. Why did they bring this guy back? What value does he have to this team? I really need to know.
The Lions didn't even want him. I mean, it's like the Detroit media couldn't stand him.
No one could. You almost got Matt Stafford last offseason, all right? And he didn't want to come here because you brought Patricia back.
Yeah, you're right. Well, and
maybe it would have been you in the Super Bowl with Matt Stafford.
Let me ask you this, though. If Bill is, let's face it, no one's replacing Bill, okay? The guy's in a league of his own, okay? Who is the next guy? Who are they going to give the job to? Because they're not going to get somebody from outside the organization.
It could be Mayo, but I don't know if Bill and Mayo are on good terms right now. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be Bill O'Brien. And here's why, because he's a local guy. He's from North Andover. He's doing really good in Alabama right now, but I think it would be Bill O'Brien. And I honestly would be happy with it. I think the guy's a pretty good coach. He took the Texans to 3 straight divisional rounds. That's not an easy thing to do.
Well, there's 2 rumors for the offensive coordinator, or 2 prevalent rumors.
Yeah.
There's Bill O'Brien and Adam Gase.
Oh, God, please do not. Adam Gase would be the worst. He ruined Sam Darnold. All right.
Yeah.
I don't want Adam Gase anywhere near this team. Bill O'Brien, I would take because I think he's got a little bit of a kind of gets in the players' faces a little bit too. And he's not afraid to back down. And that would be the guy I'd want is Bill O'Brien, but I don't know what would happen. If Darte's
he's a passing guy, he loves to throw the ball.
Yeah. But they're not hiring. They're not bringing in someone like Jim Harbaugh, or they're not going to do anything like that. They're going to promote within. It could be Mayo. Yeah. I don't know. It's not going to be Joe Judge.
Well, Harbaugh's going back to Michigan.
Yeah.
That.
He didn't want that job.
But Bill O'Brien and Belichick are friends. So I think it probably will be Bill O'Brien.
I'm okay with it.
The guy they signed. I think it's whoever they sign as offensive coordinator, really.
Yeah, I mean,
Bill O'Brien, Adam Gase. I'd prefer O'Brien over Gase, definitely. But whoever fills that OC role, I think, is the next guy. I just hope it's not Matt Patricia. Please don't promote Matt Patricia to offensive coordinator. I will just, I will officially just become a Bengals fan.
No, it's not going to be Matt Patricia. I could see O'Brien. I think maybe he's holding out. He's still kind of a young guy, and I could see him being here for a while. I couldn't see, Bill O'Brien want to go somewhere else after that, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of question marks with this team right now. And you just got to think Bill can't keep doing this for much longer. I mean, he's been with this team for almost 20 something years, which is astounding.
Well, and here's the other thing to think about is Bill Belichick's ways outdated now?
Well, we said that too this past week. Yeah, might be a little bit. I can tell you this. If he does win another Super Bowl, he's all done.
Oh, definitely.
Why would he? If he wins one with Mac Jones, well, you want one without Tom Brady. So then why is he going to want to stick around? I mean, and he's already said he doesn't want to coach into his mid-70s. This job is going to take a lot out of you too. I mean,
I think he's towards the end. I do, because
I do too.
He has the girlfriend, and he's a guy that likes to travel. He has his boat. He likes, going to nice places like Florida and islands and stuff like that.
You see who he was with this past weekend? He was with Urban Meyer.
Yeah, at Mar-a-Lago.
So now someone said that, could he be coming to the Patriots? I'm like, I don't even want this guy anywhere near my team. Urban Meyer on the Patriots? No.
It'd make things interesting.
Well, it definitely, you think? Well, look at like when they tried to bring Greg Schiano in, like that didn't work out. I mean, Urban Meyer is just, no, please, no. It would be entertaining. I would say that, but
it really would. It would bring a whole new
Bob Kraft signing off on that. I mean,
maybe he's looking at younger guys to bring in because he knows his methods maybe are a little outdated. So maybe he's looking to go a little younger.
Yeah. I don't know, Tom. I mean, but again, if we think anyone's going to come in and just replace Bill, it's ridiculous. I mean, granted, the guy's got flaws like anybody else, but no.
As I said, everyone thinks I say, Bell should be fine. No, I said he should be on the hot seat. He should be. I said, give him another year, see what he does. If he has another bad season where, he can't go above what he did last year, maybe, obviously you'd prefer he retire, but maybe, you give him a little push and you say, buddy, come on, you went, 7-9 this year, or you got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. We got embarrassed again. Our defense is bad. It's time to step aside.
Yeah, you got to wonder if him and Bob Kraft have had these conversations. You got to think they have.
I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. I mean, I don't know. I don't. He's lost a lot of coaches, and Brian Flores ain't coming back here. I don't think that's happening after the text messages and all that. And no, he wants a head coaching job. I don't know if he's going to get one in the NFL. I wish him the best. I think he's a really good coach.
I think he deserves one, but I think that whole thing is going to push him out of the league. There was a rumor that the Texans were thinking about him. I don't know if they ended up hiring someone yet, but
have the Texans hired anybody? Who wants that job?
I know
that team is a mess.
But I mean, to your point though, Flores might have pushed himself out of the league with that. Because if you're threatening to sue former employers, that's going to make teams very wary about hiring you.
And real quick too, I know I forgot to mention this, but the whole thing too with John Gruden, that thing that smells. That was a setup. I mean, because now he's suing the NFL. They got like, how many lawsuits does this league have going against them right now? This is just not good. And listen, what John Gruden said was wrong. I mean, he was not right saying what he said, but I don't know. It just looks, I think that he knew some things about Washington, and that's why they got rid of him, because he was going to, and Dennis Allen then gets the job in New Orleans.
So that means that Snyder's protected.
Oh yeah.
And that really stinks because
he's going to go. He's going to go.
Horrible.
I've been saying this for the last 15 years. He has absolutely ruined that franchise. I mean, can you imagine, like, just pray that we have Bob Kraft, because, and he has his faults like any other owner, but man, I mean, we could have had that guy. No, thank you. I mean,
Kraft is an amazing owner. I mean, he turned Gillette Stadium, Foxborough, into this small little peanut operation to this grand operation that's one of the most elite in the league. And not only did it benefit the football team, but look what he's done for the community.
Absolutely. And you know what? He goes into the parking lot. He talks with the fans. Like he sometimes you see him in like a sweater and jeans. Like he was a fan. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is what I look at as an owner. Like, I look at somebody who, he gets it. Like, he goes out, he talks to the fans, kind of like what Mark Cuban does in Dallas. Like, he goes into the stands, he talks with his fans. Like, this is what people want. They want someone to relate to, and Bob Kraft has been,
I love him. I think he's great.
He's amazing. Maybe he's one of the best owners ever maybe in the history of sports. What he's done, he's built the Patriots are $1 billion organization.
He's got to go to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, not even a question. I mean, not even a question. Yeah.
I think his son will pick up the legacy and do a good job. He seems like a good guy too.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
But yeah, he's
amazing.
he's probably the best owner in the NFL. Really, I mean, Jerry Jones, like he's a good owner, but he's too involved in stuff.
Too involved,
He
too
has a big mouth.
egotistical. Yeah.
But I feel like he's a good owner that truly does care about his team, but he's just too involved. But Bob Kraft, I mean, you think about the perfect owner. I mean, you revamp the team, you revamp the franchise, you brought championships, you did a ton for the community, you opened this beautiful shopping center around the stadium that attracts many people. He's done everything that you would want an owner of a major sports franchise to do.
Because he was a fan. Again, I know I say that he was sitting out there in the 90s, the late 80s when this team was terrible, but Bob Kraft was there and like he owned, Sullivan Stadium. If Bob Kraft had not owned that stadium, this team is no longer here. Yep. He saved the franchise. I mean, because he was a fan, he grew up in this area, and it's just that's what I like in an owner, somebody who he gets it.
Absolutely. Yep. They would be in what, Hartford right now if he wasn't
St.
here?
Louis or Hartford or God knows where they'd be. They wouldn't be here. And,
thank you to Mr. Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. Yes.
But he's just a cool, down to earth guy.
He really is.
Like fans.
Yeah, exactly.
But all right, we're in the final minute or so of the show. Any final thoughts, Andy?
Couple final thoughts. How about Hopkinton's Sean Farrell scoring a hat trick against China?
That was beautiful.
He's becoming a really integral part of this USA team right now. They're heading into the quarterfinals, and they got a shot to win a gold here. I think they're playing really, really well. And I also want to congratulate Medway's Zach DiGregorio on the luge. There was a watch party in Medway last weekend. Last Wednesday, my FM was there. And really did a great job. I think they took 11th in the doubles luge, and then the relay team took 7th. Really, really neat to see. And also to Medfield's Julie Latai. She competed in short track speed skating as well. They didn't medal, but still great to see like 3 local athletes from our area competing in the Olympic Games. And it's just nice to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love seeing those local guys at the Olympic Games. Tremendous. And go Sean Farrell. What he did against China, that was awesome.
Yeah, good player.
That was awesome.
And finally, if anybody thinks this baseball season's starting on time, you're out of your mind. It ain't happening.
Yes.
Not happening.
And I do want to definitely let the Dover Sherborne community know that our thoughts and prayers are with them.
Absolutely.
They recently lost Owen Bingham, who was a young golfer over at Dover Sherborne in a car accident. So our thoughts and prayers are certainly with Owen and his family and friends in the Dover Sherborne community.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just a terrible situation over there. Great community, Dover Sherborne.
Absolutely. They're a great rival of Hopkins.
They are some very, very good teams over there. Yeah. But just a terrible situation.
Yes, it is. Awful. Can't imagine. But don't forget, winter playoffs are coming up. Be on the lookout for the Hillers broadcast schedule on our website, hcam.tv. But we are out of time for this episode. For Andy Barron, I'm Tom Nappy. We thank you for tuning in, as always, to HCAM Sports Talk. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome into HCAM Sports Talk. Tom Nappy here, and right now we are joined by the Hopkinton Hillers boys varsity basketball team. We have head coach Tom Keene, as well as the captains Caleb Graham, Nate Casper, and Nick Paharik. Guys, how are you?
Doing good. Very good, thank you.
All right, well, a tough game against Norwood the other day, Coach Keene. And Norwood, very good team. They ended up getting the win in that game, and a few offensive struggles to start off, but you made a nice comeback in the fourth quarter. Could you talk about that game a little bit? Obviously, it must have not been so fun to have the 7-game winning streak come to an end.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough game yesterday in the late evening. Norwood's a very good team. They've got a great season going. they're 11-2 now, 12-2 now. So I mean, there's no shame in losing to an excellent team like that. Of course, we wish we had played a little bit better on the defensive end, and we wish we were able to convert a little bit more, both inside and outside offensively. But overall, I can't be sad about the effort. The effort was there right to the very end. So we're happy with that, and we're looking forward to tomorrow night in Holliston. On to the next.
Absolutely. Coach, your team is 9-4 on the season, and you have some great leadership at the helm. Can you talk about the team this year and, of course, your 3 captains that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've got a very well-balanced team, some good guard play, some good inside play this year. And we also have good balance between juniors and seniors and actually 2 sophomores. But I really can't say enough about the seniors, Caleb and Nick and Nate, Alex Smith and Matt Kaufman. And I'm missing one. Who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting somebody. Right. I forgot somebody. Oh, it'll come back to me. But the senior leadership has been outstanding. Owen Schnurr.
Yeah.
So, those 6 have really done a great job leading this team. They've been into it every single step of the way, every game. They've always been team first, and they've just got a wonderful spirit about them. So it's been a pleasure to coach them this year, and I look forward to the last 3 weeks of the season and then the state tournament. Hopefully, we can get that one more win.
Absolutely, you certainly have the talent to do it. Caleb, we'll start with you. What's it been like playing with this group? How's your season going, and what's your ultimate goal for this season?
The season's great so far. I mean, we had a tough loss last night, and it stinks that we can't play them again. But so far this season, I think our best attribute is our togetherness. We're always doing stuff after practice with the team. Right now, we're at a Spagger, hanging out. And ultimate goal at the end of the season was to win the TVL, but we can't now. But now it's just have a deep run in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Nate, what's it been like playing with this group? How's your season going, and what's your hope for this team in the upcoming games and heading into the postseason, hopefully?
It's been great. I mean, this team just has so much chemistry, on and off the court. Every day we're doing something. Even before the season even started, we were always hanging out, where it's basically like a family. And the goal for the season is, to just keep winning, make it as far as we can, and just keep having fun and just being able to play with these guys.
And Nick, how's your season going? And what are some of the things that you've been working on this year to improve your game?
Season's been great. I love the boys. We've kind of created a family atmosphere, kind of like what they said. And I guess some goals are to just keep winning and keep becoming closer and closer as a team.
Absolutely. So, Coach, you got Holliston coming up. You saw them once already this season. Can you tell us a little bit about this Holliston team?